Hello everyone and welcome back to every single win I got inside F1 24. Nearly. I don't want to spoil the rest of the Sauber career mode, so I've left a few potential wins out of this final video. But yeah, of course, a few days ago we made a compilation of every DNF I suffered inside F1 24 from about the 250, I think it was actually closer to 300 races I did on this game. We suffered, I believe it was 34 DNFs. We won about 55 Grand Prix inside the game, so we did win more often than we retired inside this game, and I think 55 wins from about 275 races isn't bad going. Again, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody for the support throughout the entirety of F1 24. Of course, get yourself subscribed. We are super close to 140,000 subscribers. F1 25 as well, right around the corner. But yeah, thank you all so much for the support. Hopefully this video brings back a few memories. We had some brilliant races inside F1 24, and hopefully we can have even more next year inside F1 24. But now we got to go for it. You can see Verstappen, he's having to try and harvest some energy as well. Down the inside, in towards turn 1, and are we going to see a last lap overtake for the win here? Something that hasn't been done in Montreal since Jenson Button achieved it all the way back in 2011. Verstappen not wanting to give up on it, though. We have to go the long way around on the exit the chicane there, but we do squeeze by. And now I'm wondering, are we going to have to play DRS games with him down in towards the final few corners of this Grand Prix? Are we going to be able to try and hang on, though, and build up a little bit of a lead there? The Dutchman, he's still having to harvest energy. The delta's going up. What has happened to Max Verstappen right towards the end of this Grand Prix there? He's dropping back massively. I think Verstappen's got problems. Verstappen 8 tenths back now. What is happening to the Dutchman? Has he ran out of charge? Has he got nothing left? Is he able to save fuel? I have no idea. But in the same week that Stuart Haas announced that Haas's NASCAR team would be shutting down, there's been a little bit of rumours and rumbling about whether their Formula 1 team would be safe. Well, if this was the case, I think it would be safe for a little while longer. A little bit of luck, a little bit of magic, a little bit of F1 24. Up towards the line, we are a Grand Prix winner. The AI desperately need a rework around this circuit as well. We're on 108 AI. How on earth am I winning this Grand Prix by nearly 15 seconds over anybody else here? But down in towards the final corner, it is not going to be Ferrari that win at the Temple of Speed, but it is going to be one of their cars' powered units around this circuit. At the final corner, we are going to win for the second time in this series. Try and navigate our way through, roll on that throttle once again here. Charles Leclerc still trying to hang on in front of me. Oh, I thought I sensed an opportunity there, but not quite enough. But Leclerc is gaining in on Sergio Perez. This could come down to the final corner of the Grand Prix there, so we've still got a fair amount of battery. We're just going for it. We're draining it now, as Charles Leclerc trying to save up a little bit. Why is he trying to save now? Perez has got no speed either. What is this? To the outside of Sergio Perez we're going to go. And the AI, they are so stupid on this game. They basically try and save up battery on the final lap of the race. Out of the final corner, out of nowhere, we are going to win it. Verstappen span. We've got to be really careful through here, as Alonso's in the wall. Verstappen's now got a 10-second time penalty. What on earth has happened? Verstappen's out. Where's Verstappen? He's gone. He's in the wall, and suddenly we're into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix with just a lap and a half to go. 3 more corners left here from Marina Bay. We took 2 wins last year. We're going to make it 2 wins so far this season as well. We've left Europe. We've proved our confidence through the final corner. We are back on top. Rear locking as well. We could still lose a drag race back to the finish line between ourselves and our teammate here, so we need to just try and keep the car planted. What is the tyre we're up to? 80% on that front left, but through the final couple of corners we're going to go. It is going to be our first ever victory for Ferrari Formula 1 team. Grazie ragazzi. For John Alesi. But down in towards the final couple of turns of this Grand Prix, we are back on top today. We love to see it as well there. Like I said, I'm not going to give up on the title fight until we are mathematically out of it. Thank you to the team. Grazie ragazzi. We are back on top. And I think, alarmingly, 5.6 seconds might be one of the biggest winning margins we've seen so far this campaign. through the final corners of the Spanish Grand Prix. The red flag in hindsight could not have been more perfect for us here, and it's worked to perfection. But we've had the pace, we've hung on well, we made the strategy work. It is P1 here in Barcelona. Well, leaving it wide open in the overtake mode there as we make our way up the straight. You can see now, just starting to struggle a bit more there as we've got the top end speed though. Leclerc, he's got nothing left. Why has he not got anything down the back straight? And we're going to move through and up into the lead then. Leclerc trying to have a look for it, but he again has not got enough. He hasn't got enough. Charles Leclerc fading away as we have just left the battery wide open in towards the final couple of corners. The win margin is going to be less than the qualifying margin here, but through the final corner, we are going to win the Belgian Grand Prix back on top. And what a way to end the first half of the year. You got to celebrate every win like it's your last in Formula 1. I don't know whether we're going to win another race in red, so you know what, pretty happy with that. Through the final couple of corners, win number 5 of the year for Ferrari and ourselves. Grazie da grazie, not bad for a number 2 driver. There, but Verstappen, he hasn't got enough. I think he drained all of his battery back down towards turn 4 there, but we sent it in out of absolutely nowhere. The confetti's flying here in Mexico City, despite the contact, despite the carnage with our teammate through the final corner. Back-to-back wins, we take the dub in Mexico. Everybody watching on, it's likely going to be Ferrari glory, but which one is it going to be towards the end of the afternoon? Leclerc still hunting us, but we are still trying to hang on. He actually has to look down the inside. Charles Leclerc there has to look down the inside in towards the strip, and we said before, Ferrari, they won't allow us to come together. They've told us categorically we cannot have an instant there, so he had to back out to avoid it. But Leclerc, I think in doing that, has left himself vulnerable. We might be able to get the run on our teammate down the inside in towards the final couple of corners here. We've got to go defensive just in case he tries something else against me. But we'll just about cover him off there. Try and put the power down nice and easy at the final couple of corners. And as we make our run towards the line, it is pole position, fastest lap, P1, maybe our last Ferrari win. Let's have it. Trying to hang on now, a little bit wide there. That might cost us a bit against Lando here. He might be able to get a run on me up in towards the final sector. He is Lando Norris trying to have a look down the inside in towards the final sector of the Grand Prix there. And look at that. The McLaren gets his elbows out there. He'll move back through a power play to the lead of the Grand Prix. And as soon as I say about how we've barely finished P2 this year, that might be exactly what happens to the outside through the final corner. Can we get the throttle down? It's going to be wheel to wheel to the line. We've got the grip though. We are going to claim it for wins. We struggled a bit in Bahrain. Leclerc had the jump on everybody that weekend. But here in Jeddah, once again, it has been proven that other teams can fight. Aston Martin, we didn't really get a full showing by them yet again. So still they remain a little bit of a mystery inside this series. But through the final corner, don't understeer too badly, up towards the line, it is going to be P1 in Jeddah, baby. Redemption for last season. But we used the undercut really nicely. After a couple of little errors early on in the GP, we have pushed hard right towards the end of the afternoon to try and open up an opportunity for ourselves. Here comes Leclerc though, down in towards the final couple of corners. Are we going to see our teammate get close enough? I don't think we will this time round. And as we make our way through, Japan has not been a good circuit for us in recent years, but through the final corner, have we got enough fuel? It's going to go into low mix 1. We've done it. Free Verstappen, he's less than 2 seconds away now, but unless we do something stupid on this last lap, surely, we're going to be able to walk away with this victory. This has been a brutal track for us inside F1 24. We've had punctures, mechanical failures, glitches and bugs. And pretty much everything that could go wrong has gone wrong at some point or another around these historic streets in Formula 1. Verstappen has taken the win here, I believe, on 2 separate occasions already on this game. Yuki Tsunoda, of course, won the race for Ferrari as well. So still in this series, at least Charles Leclerc waiting for that first Monaco Grand Prix victory. And he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. A disastrous weekend for our teammate hopefully will mean if we can bring this home, we will retake the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. Verstappen as well now is finally springboarding himself back in towards title contention. I'm taking no risk through these final few corners. We saw what happened here last season I do not want to have a repeat of that. As we navigate our way through the final couple of corners, Verstappen is all over me now. But we have survived it. A little bit of controversy at the halfway stage, but through the final corner, finally, we are going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Of course, I mentioned about those 3 crown jewel races that I want to win this season. We haven't won since that Monaco Grand Prix. So to come back here to our home race and after the heartbreaking disappointment last season, to hopefully be about to stand on the top step of the Formula 1 podium once again. Silverstone, I'm sure the fans are loving this. It has been an absolutely ridiculous race here on the British Grand Prix. This place always delivers chaos. It looks like Verstappen is going to pit Leclerc right towards the end. They are going to battle it out in towards the final couple of corners. Hopefully Leclerc can make the difference. Through the final corner, though, it is going to be P1 at the British Grand Prix. In towards the final few corners here at Spa-Francorchamps. Pole position on Saturday. Race win, hopefully, on Sunday with the fastest lap as well. We didn't lead every lap, but it was a beautiful strategy that meant the second half of this Grand Prix was pretty comfortable for us. Through the final corners, back-to-back wins here in the Ardennes. It is P1 here in the Belgian Grand Prix. Actually, Verstappen, I tell you what, he's not going to give up on this just yet there. Tries to have a look round my outside. It would just like cover him off. In towards the final few corners here as the engine warning light just flashes up. Luckily, the Dutchman won't be able to do anything.
Next part of the track, no overtaking through the yellow flags.
In through that next chicane there, and as we round our way through the final couple of corners, back-to-back victories here to finish off one of the legs of the season. It is P1. Here, Alonso, he is still breathing down my neck as we make our way into the final sector of the Grand Prix. Will it be the Spaniard from P2 on the grid? Will it be us from 16th place on the grid? Out of the final proper corner of this Grand Prix, it is still anybody's guess, because Alonso, he will try to use the battery. We're going to have to use all of ours as well there, and maybe if he gets the DRS as well. I mean, surely he will, but will he have enough? Alonso, he's not dropping back from us. This is going to be so close up towards the line. I think we've done it, though. Alonso's not got enough. That is P1. Now, I've just got to try and park the bus through this final sector of the Grand Prix there. Will Verstappen be able to do anything through this short DRS zone? He's going to close in on us once again. That gap will continue to come down. There was all a little bit of a mistake in towards the stadium there. Luckily, Verstappen can't really look for anything as the confetti flies here in Mexico City. It is going to be pole position and race victory here in Mexico. That is exactly what we need. Through the final few corners of the Qatar Grand Prix, we have worked hard all afternoon for this one, and I would thoroughly say that we deserve the victory today after the disappointment on the Vegas Strip. Through the final corner, it is going to be P1 here in Qatar. Maximum points from the weekend. Total domination on paper. Away through the final couple of corners here in Abu Dhabi. Ultimately, we could have had a mechanical failure this weekend. Verstappen and Red Bull, they have not had the pace to match us. Consistency has been the Dutchman's strong point once again, but he is still human. He can't always give that team superhuman races. But through the final corner, a little bit nervy in these last few rounds. It is going to be glory for Ferrari. Grazie ragazzi.
Yes! Come on, well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion.
We just needed to upgrade some parts on the car. The European spec version of the car rocked up here at Imola, and immediately it has instilled confidence in us. Through the final corner, we never were able to do it for Ferrari, but here for Mercedes, we win the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Aston Martin, the fact that they've had a mechanical failure, and we haven't today, but that being said, Hamilton, he had the first Mercedes power unit failure of the year, so yeah, we've certainly just been a bit on the lucky side so far. McLaren, so you know, but to be fair, yeah, McLaren did have one, didn't they? All the way back in Bahrain as well as Williams. So pretty much all the Mercedes teams have had one so far in this campaign as well. But as we round the corners of this last lap of the Monaco Grand Prix, not to discredit any of the other races this season, but this one has probably been the most action-packed. 2 red flags, 2 safety cars, roadblocks galore. It has really been a Monaco Grand Prix that has been about survival as much as anything else. We had that unlucky contact early on in the Grand Prix. Who knows whether that damage on Alonso's car is what caused the mechanical failure. We took the lead back though through some savvy pit calls and red flag restart strategies, and since then we have not looked back as we round our way through the final couple of corners of the Monaco Grand Prix. Back-to-back years, different teams, same driver, same winner. It is P1. Because that has been where Oscar as well is very, very strong here. He's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. He has a look down the inside, but it is not quite enough there. And I tell you what, as we make our way in towards the final couple of corners, we've had a couple of close finishes with Oscar before. Today, it has just been an intense battle all afternoon. Luck has not been on our side in recent times inside this series, but as we make our way out the final corner, we're going to go back-to-back here in Italy this year. It is P1. McLaren cars, we are going to bring this fight. We're going to drag it out right to the bitter end through the final corner here in Marina Bay. It's a track we've had so much success at. We're going to win again. It is P1 here in Singapore. Summer stretch there. And honestly, Lando, he wasn't much of a threat in the early stages, but the fact he brought himself right the way back goes to show how much he has matured as a Formula 1 driver. But through the final corners here in Abu Dhabi, it has been a season of trying to be the driver to make the least mistakes. I don't think I can claim that honour, but we have maximised results in a car that has never quite been the fastest across the board. Through the final corners, for the second time in F1 24, we are the Drivers' World Champion.
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys! Oh, you are my hero! You're my hero! You've done it! All of that work has come down to this, and you are the World Champion. Great stuff!
It's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion.
Power down out of the hairpin. We're going to have one more real opportunity here, and I cannot mess that up. Just a slight bit of wheel spin as we put the power down. But look at that, Verstappen. I think he's used all of his battery. Max Verstappen really struggling towards the end of the race. He's going to force me to a defensive line in towards the final chicane there. Make sure that we don't cut it. Make sure that we give him the room. But final corner, final lap. That is going to be P1 for Haas. Now, trying to battle with Verstappen. Sometimes in Formula 1, you just need a bit of luck to go your way, and we certainly had our fair share of bad luck inside this game as well. But through the final corners, here at Austria, it's a track that Haas have always gone well at, and we're going to continue that form today. 2 more corners to go. We have beaten Verstappen in front of an adoring Red Bull crowd. It is going to be P1 here in the Styrian Hills. Down on the exit, but look at that, Fittipaldi now is breathing right down our neck. We need to get the best run of my life as we make our way out of Maggotts and Beckett's there, and you know what? I don't think we've done it. Alonso, though, having to save battery, clearly has just tried to give himself a bigger window as he possibly can. We will drain the battery, get to the inside, down in towards Luffield, but he spots the move. Fernando will try and come back at me on the exit of the corner. Just a couple more turns to go then. We will try and get back down the inside there. A little bit of wheel spin on the exit, but that send at the end of Luffield is going to win us the British Grand Prix. But rounding our way through the final few corners then here from Imola. We haven't even won a race yet this season. I genuinely, off the top of my head, can't remember the last race we won inside this game. I want to say it was like Singapore last year, if I remember correctly, but it doesn't matter now, because through the final couple of corners we are going to go. It is going to be victory once again here at Imola. 26 points on the board. That's what I'm talking about. Enough fuel to get round to the checkered flag. Here comes Oscar Piastri, though. A huge amount of speed in towards those final couple of corners there. We will go wheel to wheel in through the final chicane. That might allow Lando Norris to get a run. On the run towards the line, we will claim the victory. That was Lando Norris back at Japan and Shanghai. We're going to join him, though. Our third win in the last 4 GP, and especially with Oscar Piastri way down the order, this is a very, very important one for us. It might well be our first win here in Barcelona as well. It is P1 at the Spanish Grand Prix. Probably gone, so he is just focused on trying to maximise his and Ferrari's result. They'll still pull out a few points ahead of McLaren, but they're going to lose a few points here to Haas. And before we head into the summer break, we've won at this venue a few times on F1 24. It has certainly been a good track for us on this year's game. Draining the battery around in towards the bus stop one final time. The sun is shining today on the Haas Formula 1 car through the final corner. I believe that's win number 4 of the year. Exactly what we need from me, but we've just got to drain all of the battery. And of course, losing some of the wing makes the car quicker in a straight line. Again, 233 miles an hour there as Gasly gets a little bit of a wobble through turn 1. We bang wheels on the exit, but Pierre there will go back around the outside. That is not what we need. We've got to try and go for it. We've got to be ahead of him. In towards the second chicane there. Drain all of the available battery to us. To the outside, we're going to have to try and go. Can we get it slowed down there? Yes, we can. And around the outside of our teammate. Again, though, he tries to get a run on me on the exit. We are not friendly towards the end of the Grand Prix. There is, how on earth has Gasly done that? That was definitely an illegal overtake to get around the outside of us. Off of that corner, down in towards Ascari. One final time. Surely he went off the road to make the move happen, just like Oscar Piastri did back in Monaco. Pierre, though, he'll let me back by. Down in towards the chicane. He's now just got to try and defend from Fittipaldi out of the final couple of corners, but Fittipaldi's going to try and move past him. Are we going to see a battle behind us towards the finish? We once again, though, are going to win the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. That one, critical for our championship fight. P1. This is a few rounds ago. Can't quite remember where that was now. Off the top of my head, must have been kind of around just before the Austrian Grand Prix, if I remember correctly. So, things looking pretty good at the moment, but we've just got to keep winning, keep closing in that gap on the Ferrari man whenever we can towards the end of the season. At the final corner, though, here in Baku, we had to work for this one. I made it definitely more difficult for myself than I ever needed to, but 3 seconds clear of Russell at the line. That is P1. Last lap if we want to win here in Marina Bay. Just try and attack that curbing through the final corner. We need to get past Russell before, well, at turn 1 ideally. To the inside we will go. So Russell thought about trying to defend it. Just realised he didn't have the grip there, and Russell, I've seen it before him lose a podium on the last lap of this race when he binned it a couple of years ago, but this time around he's just going to get overtaken fair and square. Will we see Leclerc even get a run on Fernando Alonso? Will we be able to get a run on Charles Leclerc there? As, oh, he gets a little bit boxed in. We had to go for a panic move to the inside there. Team apparently happy with that move. I'm not completely convinced by it, but I guess we're through. And I mean, it was Leclerc that moved in the braking zone. So we are now up into P2 then of this race. Again, we've got so much fresher tyres at the moment. But are we going to be able to try and hound Alonso here? I genuinely thought we might have thrown this one away. But if there was an opportunity, we have surely got to try and take it here. Open up the run through the hairpin. We'll have the DRS down the very next straight. We know that Aston Martin isn't particularly good in a straight line on this game, as again, we've just got to try and focus on getting the power down. Oh, out of that corner, a little bit of a wobble on the exit. Surely Alonso is going to try and defend this one, and he will immediately defend to the inside there. Can we get around the outside of the Aston Martin? In through the final few corners, we have got the grip, and after we completely botched the strategy for the first time on this game, 3 wins in a row. Actually steal what might be the win. It might not be, on the other hand. The gap 9.6 as we make our way out of this onto the strip. One final time here. Leclerc, I mean, even using the battery, Leclerc is still pulling away from me, but we are going to get the run on Théo Pourchaire down in towards the final few corners. To the outside we will go. Plenty of straight line speed in this car, but it is going to be a drag race effectively against Leclerc up towards the finish line here. How much battery have we got? Will it be enough? Leclerc's going to win this one on the road. I am watching the gap, though. It's still at 9.7 seconds, but it's not updating because he's already crossed the line. We have, I think, got it. Enzo Edino Ferrari, Italian Grand Prix. Use all of our battery. We've got to go for it. Turn 1 is our last real chance. Has Oscar got enough? I don't think he does. Oscar Piastri is really struggling. We are going to be wheel to wheel. In towards that first corner there. The McLaren that time keeps the nose up the inside a little bit more, but we will still make it through. And now it's a question of can we hang on? We've got someone else breaking down a little bit further back. I think one of the Mercedes is running into problems here. Onto the last lap of the Grand Prix. I did not know that was possible for the AI, but one of those Mercs has ran into problems. It might well be a puncture for them. I don't quite know yet, but Oscar Piastri, I think he's really struggling. No, Hamilton's out. Hamilton is out of this Grand Prix going on to the very last lap. That is heartbreaking for Lewis and Mercedes, but what that does do is it means we're a little less vulnerable through those final couple of corners because there are yellow flags out, and surely, unless Oscar Piastri can do something crazy, Verstappen's into P2. Where on earth has Verstappen come from late on in this race? And now he's got the run on me. Is Verstappen just waiting right to the very end there? We've got yellows out. That might win us the Grand Prix because Verstappen had the run. Backed out of it in towards the final few corners. On the run towards the line though. Williams, we have done it. Are we going to see Perez and Leclerc into the pit lane? Sergio Perez is in. Will Charles Leclerc join him? I think he has. Oh my. As we start the final lap of the Australian Grand Prix, we have got no concerns with our tyres still. Ours are only at 58% wear. And we are into the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Like I said, you know, Verstappen and Piastri are still absolutely ploughing along here. Piastri at the very least, is back onto the podium late on in this Grand Prix. But how ridiculous is this? Not only are the AI pretty poor in terms of their raw pace in the wet, they also can't look after their tyres. And, well, usually this takes seasons. We got lucky inside F1 23 in our My Team career mode that we were able to win a race in Season 1. This time round, though, it is going to take us 3 Grand Prix. I say that, Oscar Piastri is actually still closing in on me at a rather rapid rate of knots, so we've got to be very, very careful as we make our way through the chicane for the final time there. Nice and easy on the way through. Be gentle with the car, be gentle with the tyres, but as we roll on the throttle, I don't think anyone was expecting this when we came to Albert Park, Australia this weekend. We narrowly missed out on points last time out, and I said that was likely going to be our only real look-in the opening stages of the season. But here in Australia, a little bit of luck, a little bit of magic as we round our way through the final corner. I'm sure the Australian fans are gutted to see it, but somehow, in just our 3rd ever race, we are a Formula 1 Grand Prix winner. We fight for the race lead here. Here goes Oscar Piastri though, trying to have a look to the outside of Charles Leclerc, and I don't think Leclerc's got the battery. Oscar Piastri, for the first time today, is going to take the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc, though, really just struggling in behind him there. You can see Leclerc's used too much battery. Charles Leclerc, he's got nothing off of turn 1. And our World Championship leader, it looks like he's still going to extend that margin at the top of the table this weekend, but not as much as he would have wanted to over Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri, he won the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix back in round 2 of the season. I don't believe he's won another race since then. He's one of my big title rivals though at the moment. Him, myself and Sergio Perez. So a win here would be super useful for any of us late on in the campaign. And you can just see he's really, really struggling. He'll go defensive in towards the Forest Sol for the final time. Can we find anywhere to try and make a move? We're going to attack the curbs through this final few corners. Are we going to be able to do anything though? I think Oscar Piastri, he's going to have enough there as we'll try and put the power down out of the final corner. It's going to be so close. We've done it. A little bit wide on the exit of the corner, and now we're going to have to try and use the battery to try and get a little bit closer to Alonso once again. I mean, we've basically got a full charge at the moment, and Alonso You can see that red LED flashing on that Aston Martin. Will we close up enough? Oh, I thought Alonso was going to try and at least commit one way or the other, but he kind of sat in the middle of the road. We get our second warning for a collision with him. Alonso locks up. He's got no battery left, though. Can we get the run? And the final corner there. To the inside we go. Goodbye, Fernando. And our third dramatic finish in a row. This time round, though, it is the win. But Ferrari have been absolutely screwed over. Carlos Sainz, though, it's actually worked for him all the way up into P5. But through the final few corners, then, of the Qatar Grand Prix, from last on the grid, we're going to take the dub by what might end up being close to half a minute here. And I'll be honest, because of how broken this game is, don't feel at all that special. Through the final corner, though, 3 wins of the last 4 Grand Prix. That one, though, a bit of a shame. Claire trying to have a look down the inside as well on the exit of the corner. And Alonso now might be able to try and get in and onto the rostrum here. Just a few more corners to go of this Grand Prix. We've still got a fair amount of battery we can try and attack Carlos with in towards the final few corners. Have we just not been aggressive enough, though, here? Trying to be patient, trying not to make enemies in the opening round of the season. A little bit of wheel spin at that penultimate corner, but you can see Sainz is having to save the battery. He's got nothing left to the outside. We'll try and go there. Will we be able to switch him off the exit of the final corner there? Carlos Sainz, he's got nothing left. It's going to be a drag race towards the line. We've only gone and done it. It's stupid, though, as there is Bottas's stricken car. We should still walk away with the victory here. Oscar Piastri, McLaren, I think, should have put a little bit more faith in the Australian rather than Lando Norris here. Looks like he's going to be trying to fight for P2. But through the final couple of corners we're going to go. The understeer now is catastrophic on this set of tyres there. We're up to 100%. We've got a puncture. No, up towards the line. We're doing a Lewis Hamilton tribute. As we throw the car through the curves of turn 1 and turn 2 there. Alonso still has got a little bit of breathing room. And it will come down to whether Verstappen can attack him or not around the back part of the circuit. We're going to try and do the old up and under down the inside of the Dutchman there and put ourselves back in prime position. Because again, we have got so much more grip than the AI right now there. But again, here comes Verstappen. That Red Bull has got so much drive. It is unbelievable at the moment. Alonso's trying to save battery down in towards the final few corners of Sector 2 there. And again, we'll just park it on the apex. And has got enough to try and hang on there. So this is going to come down to a battle in towards the final few corners. And you know what? I'm a bit worried that with Verstappen's straight line speed, he is going to be the one to get the run. We went wheel to wheel with him towards the end of the sprint race yesterday. Are we going to see the same thing today? Alonso, he's trying to give it everything that Aston Martin has got in towards the final couple of corners there as we will move to the outside of the Spaniard and up into the lead of the GP. Can we hit our apex? We just about do. Through the final corner, it is going to be P1 here in Miami. We are back to winning ways. Be a really, really good traction zone for us there. And Leclerc, he kicks the back end out. He's going to have to go defensive up and towards the chicane there. We've seen him make mistakes before. Will this be another one as he sits the car nicely over the top of the hill there? Through the chicane we go. You can see Leclerc now is having to try and save the battery. Whoa, we're going to get forced out wide in towards the final couple of corners. Leclerc once more will get the power down. Can we send it through the final corner? We have got good drive to the outside. Surely not on the run to the line. Leclerc had nothing left. That is, of course, a topic for another day, but I think by winning both those championships, by having both those trophies back in the cabinet at the factory, a curse has been lifted as we make our way through the final couple of corners here in Qatar. I really did think we were not going to win another race between now and the end of the campaign. We haven't won a race since Imola back in April. It is now December here in Qatar in our alternate F1 universe. Through the final corner, though, finally, we are back on top. It is P1 in Losail. Mark filling my ear with information that I don't want. Are we going to see Perez, though, get a run? We have saved up the battery pack to try and do something at the end of this Grand Prix. It's Oscar Piastri. He has got nothing left in that car. We think about having a look to the inside of Perez as well. A little bit of contact through the final corner. Perez gets the power down. Is he going to win it? Are we going to be able to get the run? Perez has got no battery as well on the run towards the line. can we take it? Even on a circuit where overtaking is not that common, apart from the start-finish straight, Leclerc still wants to try and make it happen on this last lap for victory in front of the Tifosi here. But as we round our way in towards the final few corners, I would assume this circuit's probably one of the closest ones to Sauber's base back in Switzerland. Through the final corners, though, we didn't get to enjoy the win in Jeddah. This time we will, out of the final turn, our second victory of the year. We are here to fight. For the luck, quite a few things went our way, but we've also been, you know, confident and assured. And on race fuel, this car really has come alive here. In towards the final couple of corners, it was Robert Kubica that took Sauber's first win here 17 years ago. Today, Sauber back on top in Montreal. Alonso up the hill. I think he's trying to drain all of his battery as well, though. There's a lot of shuffling around. Everybody trying to have a look to the inside line. There's more contact between the three of them there. As who do we follow? I think we're going to have to follow the McLaren off the corner. Like I said, I'm still not too sure who it is. I think it might actually be Oscar Piastri. But round the outside of 1 and 2, is it Perez? Is it Piastri? I've got no idea. Either way, we're 3 wide as we make our way down the hill. Surely we're not actually going to be able to pull this one off there, as we're still 3 wide for the lead of the Grand Prix. Oh, a little bit of wheel banging as whoever that is down the middle there. I think it is Perez. Perez somehow down the middle is going to hang on to the lead for now. Can we get a huge run, though, down in towards the final couple of corners and deny him victory yet again to the inside? Perez doesn't defend it. In towards the final corners of the Austrian Grand Prix. We played the patience game. It has paid off handsomely. P1. Oh! How on earth did you hang on to that, sir?
I don't know, dude. Oh, okay. Okay.
I was on the inside. I had the apex.
Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
That wasn't even an attempt to give me a racing lane.
Winnie here again. We went from 17th on the grid to the lead on raw pace alone, just by being fast. Gary, it'll be nice to share another podium with you, but do you think it's the most well-earned podium of your life?
No, because I was already in position to win the race.
Yeah, you weren't. I was going to have you anyway, but it's going to be win number 2 of the year.
Inaccurate.
2-0 for wins so far this season. We continue to open up the lead over Gary in the championship. P1, baby!
The wrong winner, but...
The wrong winner!
The slower guy wins sometimes.
Start our Red Bull journey with another. Just one more sector to go at the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm trying to save my battery to use it at an opportune time. Can we get that power down through the penultimate corner? Yes, we can. Surely not. Verstappen's having a save battery. We're going to be side by side towards the final corner, Gary. I don't know who's got the DRS. Come on, Verstappen sent it. Get the power down on the exit. It's going to be wheel to the line. Around the outside. Verstappen's got nothing. P1, baby.
In here. Heads back out into the sunlight, covered by clouds.
Say it's not much sunlight
into the pool
today.
section. Takes the left, takes the right, cuts it just to make sure he's safe from Leclerc. It's going to turn left here, passing the yachts that none of us can afford. Through the chicane, passing all the grandstands, cheering for Brad Pitt when he does his celebration after Matt's done his own. Rounds the final couple of corners. The Mickiest win of all time out of the final turn.
Oh, beat it.
He's trying to throw it away right at the end, but he picks up the victory.
I half expected to see you whiz across the grass there, Gary. Woo! We'll take it, champ.
Come on.
Maybe the least deserved win.
We got him.
You've done it. You've done it.